Defender number 77, Tyler Pasher. Midfielder number 42, Lebo Moloto. Midfielder number 58, Dakota Barnathan. Midfielder number 32, Christian Duke. Forward number 11, Diego Costner. Forward number 30, Daniel Shalloy. And forward number 88, Kevin Oliveira.
We're in downtown Tulsa. We welcome you in to ONEOK Field, where the Tulsa Roughnecks will be hosting the Swope Park Rangers this evening out of the Western Conference in USL. Welcome in, everyone, as you see the downtown skyline of the city of Tulsa, as we welcome you in on this Tuesday night of USL action. I am Jeremy Poplin, joined by Dave Saunders, as we get set for this all-too-important game in the Western Conference, specifically on the Tulsa Roughnecks side. Tulsa entering this game coming off of, well, a bit of a rough patch that we will discuss openly here in just a few moments, sitting at 15 points total, 11th place in the Western Conference, just outside of the playoffs. They're on a two-game losing streak coming into the contest after falling 3-1 to San Antonio on June 17th at Toyota Field. Also the loss as well to Swope Park before they went to San Antonio, 3-1 in that game. And then the loss in the Open Cup to FC Dallas as well. So Tulsa trying to get off on the front foot here in the early going here this evening. Welcome in my broadcast partner, Dave Saunders, who joins us tonight for the matchup as we get a look at the Western Conference standings there. As you see the red line with Swope comfortably resting in 6th place, tied with the Seattle Sounders FC2, and Tulsa there below Phoenix and below Rio Grande Valley. And they've had success against Rio Grande Valley, but 15 points overall, tied with the Whitecaps too, with those 15 points. Dave, welcome in, sir.
Thank you very much, Pop. Good evening to you. Good evening to everybody, wherever you are, watching and listening into this broadcast. Important night for the Roughnecks. It's exactly, Pop, a month, isn't it, since we were sat here in this privileged position watching a home game for the Tulsa Roughnecks. Big night against a pretty impressive Swope Park Rangers side.
I think it's very important tonight, and the one area that Dave Vaudreuil, when he became head coach of the Tulsa Roughnecks, has discussed was defensively, wanting to average, giving up around a goal per game. And over this last run and handful of games, it has not fared very well at all for Tulsa on that end. The 3 goals to Swope, what happened to them, and San Antonio as well. 20 goals conceded now on the season, 68 shots faced. And this is a team that he feels like can play to a much higher standard. And even during the coaches show admitted that, first things first, they've done a great job of taking care of the home field. But they have got to find a way to have success on the road if they want to continue to climb this ladder in the Western Conference to put themselves in playoff position. But got to take care of your home field, and now they find themselves in a very important match here this evening, considering the way that they have performed the last couple of times on the road.
Yeah, he doesn't shy away from it, does he? Congratulations to you and him on a very frank discussion in the Pop and Vod show, because, you know, he's admitted that, you know, even at Swope Park away there, it was 1-1, wasn't it, late on, and he didn't sit back for the point. He wanted all 3. Okay, we end up losing to 2 late goals. Well done to Swope Park. They come out with the 3 points. But you don't want to just be a home side that's great and you win games at home. You want to go and get something on the road. And, you know, some Roughnecks fans will say, well, let's take a boring, park the bus 0-0. But I don't think Coach Vodge is like that with the Roughnecks. I don't think the Roughnecks play that way, Pop. But they do need to start picking something up on the road. And, you know, you talk about goals conceded. It's not as though there's an excuse, is there, with an unsettled back four. He's pretty much played the same keeper and back four the whole time.
I think you're exactly right. The Roughnecks have never defeated the Swope Park Rangers, losing all 4 meetings in 2016. Will this be the first time that they get that W in the win column? We'll take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll be set for kickoff. Coming to you live from downtown Tulsa, this is Tulsa Roughnecks Soccer.
Your Tulsa Roughnecks FC returns to the pitch at ONEOK Field for the second of their 2 matches this week on Saturday night, July 1st. Bring the family and kick off the July 4th holiday early as we light up the skies over downtown Tulsa with an amazing post-match fireworks show presented by Mix 96. Come early and stay late for our pre- and post-match parties at the new Busch Scoreboard Bar as gates open at 5:30 on July 1st. Buy and print your tickets from home at roughnecksfc.com.
It's summertime, Drillville. Time to work on that tan. Make sure you have the coolest beach towel there is around this summer. Head to ONEOK Field on July 6th, where the first 1,000 fans will receive this one-of-a-kind Los Angeles Dodgers beach towel. Brought to you by Fox 23 and 103.
Your Tulsa Roughnecks FC returns to the pitch at ONEOK Field for the second of their 2 matches this week on Saturday night, July 1st. Bring the family and kick off the July 4th holiday early as we light up the skies over downtown Tulsa with an amazing post-match fireworks show presented by Mix 96. Come early and stay late for our pre- and post-match parties at the new Busch Scoreboard Bar as gates open at 5:30 on July 1st. Buy and print your tickets from home at roughnecksfc.com.
It's summertime, Drillville. Time to work on that tan. Make sure you have the coolest beach towel there is around this summer. Head to ONEOK Field on July 6th, where the first 1,000 fans will receive this one-of-a-kind Los Angeles Dodgers beach towel. Brought to you by Fox 23 and 103.
All right, welcome back live to ONEOK Field here in downtown Tulsa. Jeremy Poplin and Dave Saunders with you. We are getting set for this match this evening between the Tulsa Roughnecks and the Swope Park Rangers. Swope coming in at 20 points, 6-4-2 overall on the season. And again, Tulsa has not been able to defeat the Swope Park Rangers in their existence inside of USL. Our referee tonight is Luis Guardia, Joel McKell, the assistant, along with Matthew Seam and Brooke Weiss, the 4th this evening. There's Dave Vaudreuil, the head coach of the Tulsa Roughnecks in year number 1, trying to fight their way back into playoff contention here this evening as he has a discussion here with Fabian Serta. Vaudreuil very adept to the Spanish language, and he better be on this squad with the likes of Kafa, the Argentinian. We've got Cuban dialect, Chilean, and coach makes no bones about it that at times the different dialect can kind of trip him up at times given the different regions, but has done very well in being able to communicate with this side here in Tulsa. Swope Park again coming in 20 points overall on the season. Coach Popovich has done an incredible job so far, and we were remarking over the lineup that Swope rolls into Tulsa with this evening. Belmar, along with Felipe Hernandez and Patrick Marr, all on duty with the first team playing in the Open Cup, but that doesn't mean that Swope came in here empty-handed, because they have sent a few first-teamers down tonight in the lineup. Around 4 or 5 first-team guys will legitimately see action here this evening in Tulsa, so this will be a very difficult test here for Tulsa at home this evening. And the one stat that we need to bring up, Tulsa 5-1 when scoring first so far this season, and 0-5 when the opponent scores first, so that has been a telltale sign. They're 4-0 at home when they have scored first this season, that one loss coming on the road. Well, partner, this one has all the makings to be a good one here on a Tuesday night in downtown Tulsa. It is 86 degrees. And the forecast for kickoff tonight brought to you by the News on 6 meteorologist Travis Meyer. Coming to you live from the Bank of Oklahoma broadcast booth. Bank of Oklahoma is proud to support the return of professional soccer to the city of Tulsa and the Roughnecks in year number 3. Jeremy Popland and Dave Saunders with you as we get a look at Fabian Serta, tonight the starting keeper.
Pop, the other thing to talk about, the impressive home form from the Roughnecks, of course, against a pretty dismal, you have to say, away form. Swope Park Rangers have not won on the road yet. They're 0-3-1, aren't they? Just that 0-0 down at Toyota Field.
Which is a difficult place to play on June 3rd. I mean, and ask the Roughnecks, anyone that travels to Toyota, and they will tell you one of the toughest places to play. And it gives you the mark of an impressive side that's mainly, or you get the sense that they're starting to come into a little bit of form here with Swope Park, who had to go through some growing pains here in the early portion of the season, but playing, no doubt about it, their best football of the season so far. And we are underway. I'd like to welcome you, those of you watching in tonight on YouTube and also on your view on Cox Cable here in the city of Tulsa. There's Colin Fernandez on loan from the Chicago Fire. Great pass, finds Juan Pablo Caffa. And Caffa had several opportunities in that first matchup at Swope. Just unlucky for Juan Pablo that he was unable to find the back of the net or be able to connect on some of those fantastic crosses and also set pieces from the corner that we've seen so far here in 2017. Long ball over the top there looking, and the assistance flag is up on the far side. They were able to catch Joey Calistri in the offsides position.
Yeah, familiar 4-2-3-1. The referee's just going to go over here to look at a piece of sod that I think has come loose. But in that 3, we know that Caffa will have that free roll in behind Swan Tussin, the lone striker. Interesting to me that Calistri started on the left. He was the one just caught offside. And Paris G is playing on the right-hand side of the 3. You might well see those two swap over during the course of the game.
We'll keep an eye on Paris G, who at times in his limited starts so far this season has impressed. As you see Fernandez pick himself up off of the turf. Hard foul here in the early going as these two teams try to feel each other out.
Well, I'll make my familiar early comment about Colin Fernandez. You know how much I rate this lad, and he's so important sitting in there with Bradley Bouchoir in that 2 in the 4-2-3-1. Here he is on the ball.
Fernandez along with Calistri doing a nice 1-2 there. Nice build up here on the near side of the pitch with Corrales, the Cuban national. 34 starts for the Cuban national team. And Kosuke gets his first touch. Corrales up the touchline, finds Calistri. A run there from Caffa. Receives, has a tad bit of pressure there on the touchline, has that one taken away, and Swope Park will try to build now from the back. Tight space, passing, and now attempting to connect there in the center circle, but a good job by Kosuke to come off of his back line. Just a bit of a nudge there in the back, and Tulsa now will retain possession. There's that patent run forward from Kosuke that ended up earning himself a goal in the Open Cup match against FC Dallas.
With his left foot?
With his left foot there, Westcott Field at SMU. There's a look at the Swope Park Rangers. 6-4-2 on the season. And Caffa now here early in this match. Not far from the touchline, but well within his range of placing one directly. More than likely looking for Sven Tussin. Not much lift on that ball from Caffa. Cleared out of the box, and Tulsa now with Corrales will send this all the way back to one Fabian Serta. That is one of the few times that you will see a poor ball from Serta. He has been fairly accurate through the early portion of the season with those long balls played from the back. foul there that will be in favor of Swope Park. See there, Paris G.
Paris G, another one of those versatile players. He's playing on the right-hand side of the three, as I alluded to earlier. Can also play in the two in the midfield.
Shallowy fighting there. Had that one knocked away from him briefly. Moloto unable to do anything, and here comes Sventusson. Sventusson to the outside is Paris G. Has plenty of time and space. Defender closing down the angle. The cross comes off the top of the defender's head. Loose there at the top of the 18 for a moment. Cleared out of the way, but Bourgeois able to turn that one back to Corrales. Mojadama. Unlucky there from Calistri. Roughnecks have been surrounding the ball so far, and quickly on the break, here comes Swope Park. Unfortunate touch there through the midfield as Koster more than likely wishes he had that one back.
Yeah, Jadama breaks things up, doesn't he, as the centre-back, the number 4. I think I'm right in saying he's played the last 11 games. I don't think he was eligible for the very first game of the season. And, you know, he's been back there with Ugarte. And as we alluded to earlier, you know, the Roughnecks have conceded goals, but it's not because of an unsettled back four. They pretty much had the same back four, haven't they? Which then you look forward and you look at your two in front, you know, and you say, how are we conceding the goals? They would dearly love to keep a clean sheet tonight, but they're up against a very good Swope Park side, so we'll see how the game unfolds.
Moloto turns away from the pressure near the midfield stripe, but elects to all the way back to Zendejas. Zendejas, the long clearance forward, looking there for Kostner. Settled near the offensive third. Oliveira, who is so dangerous at times. That one player that you have to be aware of where he's at all times on the pitch. Nice looping ball over the top, settled there. Corrales has to fight back. And the assistant will point towards the corner. This will end up being the first corner of the night. That's Colton Storm.
Because Corrales, good defending there, had to be careful because he was the man to give away the penalty up at Swope Park, wasn't he, late on. Good defending there, though.
Here's Oliveira. Low driven ball cleared out of the box by Corrales all the way past the halfway line. The Roughnecks will move as one line forward, and now they will separate themselves. Shifting over to the left now, Fernandez. Sventusson will provide a little bit of pressure there, sliding in over the top, looking to slot the ball into the box. First person to get there and touch. Woo. A little bit of a clipping there, and that might be Jadama, who was not very happy with Diego Kostner at all for trying to sell that bump inside the box there.
Yeah, it was way after the ball had gone. I think the referee just bringing the two players together there and saying, you know, there's nothing in it. Here's the replay pop, and there was a little tug on the shirt there by Jadama, actually. You see on the replay, and that's what Kostner was saying, and then Jadama sort of saying, well, come on, there was nothing for you to fall over with. I don't think it was a tug of the shirt that really warranted him going down, but, you know, you've seen them given. I think what sold it for the referee was the ball was already out. That's a great turn from Bourgeois.
Bourgeois fighting there near the midfield, almost a takeaway.
Of course, the Roughnecks have never beaten Swope Park, have they, in 5 attempts, so they would dearly love it to do it tonight.
Cutting from the corner of the 18 now. Slots it in, a ball that is well played across the front of the box, but the assistant's flag is up. And offsides for Swope Park here in the 9th minute.
First offside the Roughnecks have had. Just pushing up a little bit there. And a chance for Serda to clear his lines.
Settle there from Corrales. Jadama to Ugarte. And has that one cleared out of the field of play. Kosuke on the far touchline. Give and go there, and plays a nice ball down the channel looking for Paris G. G unable to keep it in the far corner, but good hustle there from Paris G, the member of the Roughnecks.
Yeah, Paris G getting a start tonight in that right-hand side of the three, and he's a lot of hustle down there. I'm loving, again, our friend Kosuke Kimura, who is, I had a chance to chat to him on the phone, actually, and we were just talking to him. I said, how do you keep so fit and conditioned? He said, I watch every single thing I eat and drink, he said, and I do a lot of monitoring of my body and keep conditioned. And what is he, 32? He's one of the fittest members of the team. A great, great guy and a great role model for the younger players.
Unlucky there from Fernandez on the square ball played in, but Roughnecks still have possession. Kaffa to Corrales. Corrales one more time, thought about going to the outside, likes to cut back inside, and more space here to the outside with Kaffa. Kaffa, the ball played in towards the penalty spot, and a sliding Fernandez, or excuse me, Calistri, just out of his reach, but another example of a brilliant ball with the perfect amount of pace played on it there from Kaffa. Calistri just could not get to it in enough time, and watch this. Nice little chip.
Well, Kaffa seems to be able to produce something from nowhere, and there he was. There's Calistri in shot now. He just couldn't quite get on the end of that perfect little ball, and that's exactly what Juan Pablo Kaffa gives the Roughnecks. Just something out of the ordinary. A lovely curled left-footed ball there, but Calistri not able to get on the end of it.
To the opposite end. Cleared out by Bourgeois. Good job from Calistri coming back to receive that ball, playing it back simply for Juan Pablo Kaffa. Bourgeois now just outside of the center circle. As Francisco Ugarte, who has to be careful. Ugarte and Kaffa both have to be careful. They are one card away from suspension. Both would be the second for Ugarte.
He's had a quiet game so far, Ugarte, and just needs to keep a lid on it, doesn't he? And do what he does best, which is to defend extremely well. The heart, the back four there with Jadama.
Good communication there from Ugarte and Jadama. Jadama, who lost that ball moving forward, found himself up a little bit too far, and he saw Francisco slide over to his left, and those two will virtually interchange from the left to the right, and now they'll switch back to the opposite side. You like to see that between your two center backs.
And that's what I said, Pop, as well. You know, it's a settled back four, and Serda seems to be the number one keeper as well at the moment. So, you know, no complaints at all there. You know, the back five there are settled. So the Roughnecks have got to stop conceding goals, especially away from home, and look at how that's happening. And we all know Coach Vods would have already done that.
Jadama over the top. Calistri offsides one more time. Calistri looking to the assistant on the far side and throws both hands up in the air, unhappy about the flag that went up.
Yeah, he just, whether he's just gone a yard early there, but it is when the ball's played. So difficult, but obviously the AR on the far side, he's got the perfect view. We have it from a long way away, and Calistri was unhappy about that, but I guess you always are as a striker when you're caught offside.
Ugarte steps in front of that wayward pass. G to the touchline. Has space in front of him. No one has closed him down yet. That's a square ball that's cut down. Good hustling back there from the midfielder, Moloto. Sventusson with all types of players surrounding him, and flag is up on the far side.
Yeah, offside. I think the Roughnecks were saying, was it even played through by them? You know, that's what they're complaining about there. The CAR's had a couple of flag waving moments in these first few minutes. 14 minutes gone, 0-0. It's an intriguing game, Pop. Bit devoid of chances on goal, but you expect that with two good teams who are battling hard for the points. Neither keeper has had a save to make yet.
It's a good sign from Tulsa early to see Ian Sventusson have a few touches here in the early going. I know that there's a tad bit of an issue with the amount of times that both of us felt like that Ian was involved in the play in FC Dallas. Always constantly looking for him with that big frame, however, but tonight it's good to see him get a few touches early.
Yeah, you're right. He was working really hard, wasn't he, down in
FC
yes.
Dallas. And I'm glad you brought that up. I don't want that to seem as if Ian, both of us made the comment that he looked exhausted by the end of the Open Cup match.
And he was up against two really good defenders,
He
as
was.
you often are, Pop, in the modern game, aren't you? You know, Sventusson is up against two quality defenders tonight in Ballou and Doyle. You know, so you know it's hard when you're up there on your own. But he's a big lad, and we know he's good with his feet. He's good in the air, and he's got a real battle on every single game. And sometimes you act as the foil, don't you? You draw away the defender for the likes of Kaffer and Kalistri to get in behind. So we'll see if he can unlock a few doors tonight, Ian Sventusson.
One thing to keep an eye on with Zendejas, as hard foul there. Kaffa has a few choice words. And we have our first card that has been issued. That goes to Moloto.
Yeah, Moloto just a little bit late on that one, the 27-year-old. And Kaffa let him know, you know, that he wasn't happy with the challenge. Here it is. Got the ball here, just a little drag back, and yeah, he was a little bit late. You know, again, we say a few years ago, Pop, you know, that would have been just a challenge and you play on, but today it's a yellow card.
And Kaffa and the Roughnecks will definitely take advantage of this opportunity. Curling ball from Juan Pablo. Bourgeois was the first person to get a touch on it. Not much he could do with it. George Corrales back to Serta.
Yeah, that was good defending there because he was under pressure and he managed to get the ball back to Serta really calmly. Here he is again. He's made that left back spot his own, hasn't he? Good player.
I think both of us have been thoroughly impressed with Corrales and his style of play.
Yeah, not only defensively, but in the modern game again, left and right backs have to get forward, and certainly he does that, and Kosuke does the same on the right-hand side.
Smart player. Zendejas will have to deal with that sun on the far end of the pitch. Probably about 10 or 15 more minutes before it sets here over the awning at ONEOK Field, and that has been a problem for keepers on that far end. And you see there the long ball forward and the foul that results in this opportunity for Swope. That's a great look there from the cameraman.
And I can tell you, I was walking around the field a couple of hours before kickoff, and that sun really is powerful. And I stood behind that goal, and it's not an easy job at all. Not wearing a cap, but you know, it's not easy. And as you said, 10 or 15 more minutes, and that sun will go down.
Yeah, and you can get a good look of it here. Zendejas standing right on the edge of that sun, trying to shield his eyes now, and the rest of the field covered in shade. There's a driven ball.
That was Mr. Doyle from the Isle of Man in the UK. Scored a header, didn't he, against Colorado? But that one with his left foot was just a few yards over. There he is.
Rangers coming into this game on the back of a 4-game unbeaten streak, going 2-0-2 in the month of June. As we get set to say goodbye to the month of June, which is incredible, considering it seems like that we just got underway a few weeks ago here in the 2017 version of USL. To the center of the pitch, finally closed down, looking to thread that one through. Christian Duke was up. Moloto, poor ball played there to the inside, bounces back out, one driven directly at Serta. I believe that came off the boot of Duke.
Yeah, he hit it well, but unfortunately for him, it went straight into the hands of Serta, who didn't really have to move there, but he did catch it well. It seemed to come to him. Christian Duke, a player that you and I have admired from his OKC days and now at Swope Park Rangers, great player, and the captain tonight as well. So a good hit from him, but no real save for Serta to have to make.
Made 13 starts so far in USL this season as Christian Duke. Bourgeois with his head up, thought about that long ball to the opposite side. Smartly to Kaffa. Calistri cuts to the inside of the defender. Calistri driven there directly at Zendejas. That was a low-driven shot that Zendejas was quick to cover up on. And we'll see here on the replay, another brilliant ball there from Kaffa. One simple touch there to the inside, and that's where Calistri, who's had some success there from that range on this side of the pitch, unable to convert there, but it's also with another opportunity now with Kaffa settling.
And just for a moment there, Pops, then Dejas lost that ball, and there was Svantasson trying to pick up the pieces there, and keeper recovered well. But as you say, good play there between Kaffa and Calistri. Calistri loves to cut in from the left onto that right foot.
Oh, just an easy touch there from Kaffa. As Corrales glutes on the pitch or on the touchline, curling ball. Tried to drop that one back, did Paris G for Calistri, and that was Corrales that was up there again.
The Roughnecks seem to be having some success down their left. A bit of a worry for the Swope Park team down their right. But Corrales is getting forward, as we've already alluded to. Kaffa is drifting over to the left. Calistri's there, and it's almost 3-on-2 at times.
Ugarte, pull back, played through the center, finds Bourgeois. Bourgeois turns as Kaffa, the engine for the Roughnecks. Calistri now. Corrales tried to play that one as well as he could with that left foot.
And I think the AR has got his flag up once again.
One more time.
Yeah, but you know, if you're Swope Park, you've got to be a little bit concerned about your right-hand side, because the Roughnecks are having their best movements down that left. And as I said, if Corrales gets up there, it's 3-on-2.
Well, and that graphic will tell you everything. 23 crosses on the season for Corrales, which has him in second place with crosses, and I would assume that Kaffa there not too far in front of him with the amount of crosses, but man, that shows you the strength there of the left back being able to push forward for the Roughnecks.
Absolutely, and I'll say it again, in the modern game, that's what you want your left and right backs to do, and one of your midfielders sits in for you and covers up. So it's the modern game, and Corrales does it extremely well.
Moloto plays back, has Doyle. Doyle now square ball. Across the back line. Ballo back to Zendejas. Little press there from Calistri. To the opposite end now. That very easily could have fallen directly to Oliveira. And the Roughnecks fortunate there to be able to escape in the 24th minute.
Although in the end, it was very calm stuff from Kosuke, wasn't it?
Yes.
And he knew what he was doing, even though he did pass it across the goal somewhat.
Well, allow the crafty veteran to take advantage. He has a little bit of leeway in instances like that, I believe.
I think so. Crowd are quiet, aren't they, Pop? They're looking on, I think, you know, waiting for something to happen. But if you're a Roughnecks fan, I think you've got to be quite pleased with this first 24 minutes. You know, they've knocked it around pretty well. Swope Park are sitting in, defending well, and trying to attack on the break. One save for Serda to make.
Bourgeois with options, has Corrales. Good defending there to stay with George. Corrales up the touchline. Good ball there from Fernandez. Defender sliding in to knock that one away, and results here in a Tulsa throw.
I like that patient build up there. Again, 3 men involved, as I've said, down there playing the triangles. Here's Corrales with the throw in to get them going again.
And that's where the majority of the play and build up for the Roughnecks has been here on that left side, as you mentioned, and it's been the combination of Corrales, Kaffa, Calistri. You see Bourgeois sliding over as well. Here's Calistri, settles inside the box. Good job of defending at that last minute.
Well, that was interesting. He's been called offside, 3 times, and I thought he was offside that time.
Kaffa, the curling cross. That one too far for G.
And he had more time than well, it was a good piece of defending in the end. I think Calistri was waiting for that one to come down, but he looked offside to me on that one.
Ugarte's pass cut down in front of Sventussen. Oliveira. Shot blocked there. The combination of G and Bourgeois. Rubio had cut to the inside. Just outside the corner of the 18, and that effort there from Bourgeois keeps Chaloui frustrated, as he had a few words there for the assistant.
Yeah, I think he was saying the shirt was being tugged, but I think it was just good close play on him.
Storm's long throw. Serda hesitated, and that one's finished. It's Rubio. And it was that bit of hesitation there from Serda that has allowed Swope to storm in to ONEOK Field in Tulsa and take the 1-goal lead here in the early going.
I think you said in the commentary that Serda seemed to hesitate. We'll have to see on the replay whether he was too far away to get there, but that was my thought going through my head, Pop, that maybe Serda could have come out there. We'll see the replay in a minute as Rubio's looking as though he's got a slight strain from that, but you know, he's the top goal scorer. Here's the replay. There's Chaloui flicking the ball on, comes off the head of the defender. No, to be fair to Serda, I think he's probably a few yards away from that, and that's got to be the defender. But that is a frustrating goal for Coach Vods to look at his defenders concede there.
Well, just looking at it from the angle that we're at, you see there, maybe a step inside the 6-yard box there. It's kind of in that no man's land, and you could see kind of Ugarte there along with Kosuke. And I don't know whether Ugarte was looking at Serda at that point, thinking that maybe he was going to come out to try to just get a fist on it out of the 6-yard area. But still, and a good job from Rubio to be able to finish that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's a great finish. I mean, that's a real poacher's goal, isn't it? You know, getting there before the defender. That's exactly what you paid for. But, yeah, I think difficult for Serda. I don't think he could get there, Pop. I think it was a couple of yards away from him, to be fair.
Kaffa, driven ball. Ian got a piece of it. Roughnecks will have to reverse the trend. They have not been able to find 3 points on the season when they have conceded the first goal. Still a long way to go, though. Swope Park 4-1 when they score first, and
ball's out on the far side there.
Kaffa unable to keep that one in play over the byline.
I think it was Kosuke on the other side. He's just having a word with the AR. Apparently he just ran out of room there. But Kosuke's shown what he can do down the right-hand side. Roughnecks have just got to keep going. We said they've had success down the left. You know, okay, they haven't had too many chances on goal to talk of, clear-cut chances. They find themselves a goal behind. But what are they made of? We're about to see. Goal kick for Zendejas. As we said, we haven't really seen the Roughnecks test him tonight with any sort of save. Calistri was nearly on the end of a Kappa through ball, but that's about as good as it's got.
Tulsa by far has dominated possession, 57% for the Roughnecks here this evening. Have been caught in the offsides position 4 times. Here as we are in the 30th minute. On the goal from Rubio. The Chilean footballer, Diego Rubio. Ugarte from midfield. Long cross looking for Ian. And that will be in favor of Swope. USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. You can stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting uslsoccer.com and following them on Twitter at USL.
Yeah, just foot up there from Bradley Bourgeois as he challenged for the ball. I was just watching Coach Vods over there. You know, he sat down now, but he was having a chat and he was waving his arms around and telling the substitutes over there exactly what he needs from his team. Good coaching from Coach Vods, and we know that he would have been taking mental notes and written notes to sit down in the locker room and talk to his side about how they can improve.
Duke from midfield. Kosuke now against Pasher, who just got back for some duty from the Canadian national team.
There's a man we need on the ball a little bit more, is Colin Fernandez. He hasn't had too many touches of the football, Pop, and I like to see him, you know, on the ball a little bit more in that central midfield.
Kosuke got up for the quick reaction there, and foul from behind there.
Yeah, he took a couple of knocks. I think Pasha caught him as well, and Duke, and he'll get up and play on. Nothing will get him off that field, will it?
Logged a ton of minutes so far this season. Brilliant ball played in. Calistri just unable to work it behind Zendejas. And I want to see that touch from Ian to find Calistri for that opportunity for the Roughnecks, because it was in such a tight space. Watch this little ball right there in between 2 defenders, and an even better move there for Calistri to set himself up, and keeper comes out, got a piece of it, and was able to knock it down.
To be fair, that's good goalkeeping from Zendejas, and it was exactly like a save that Serda made up at Swope Park actually at 1-1 when the lad was through on goal, and he saved it as well. So good goalkeeping. But hope for the Roughnecks there. Sorry, Pop, because that was, as you said quite rightly, it was let's have a look at the ball from Swan Tussen. It was a great touch to Calistri. Calistri did all the hard work as well, and it was just good goalkeeping, keeps it at 1-0 to Swope.
Well, I want to talk about the vision from Big 19, because first of all, the skill level to be able to play that ball in that position, but you have to, when you're playing with your back to the goal that way. The thing that I've been impressed about with Ian, sometimes when those forwards are playing with their back to the goal like that, they have such tunnel vision. But, man, his vision to each individual side to even see where the placement of that ball should go. Credit to Big 19.
No, you're absolutely right.
Kaffa with the pullback. Unfortunate ball there from Chimera, who's up. That's Ugarte coming through with a strong tackle, and I believe we might have another booking, and that is it for Ugarte.
Well, I think the referee might have been slightly influenced by everybody jumping off the Swope Park bench there. You know, I think Mr. Vodrell's just having a little word there with the fourth official, Mr. Weiss, there, and saying, you know, was that more of a reaction from the Swope Park bench? Don't want to be critical of the bench, but they knew possibly it was Ugarte, and that was his first tackle of the game, and unfortunately he's gone into for his yellow card, and I think, as you said, Pop, he's got a suspension now, or has he got maybe one more chance? But, you know, it's... You don't want to see that kind of thing. I can understand the passion of the game. Everybody reacts in different ways, but possible influence there, I don't know.
Well, Ugarte came in on warning, and he just collected yellow card number 8, so that will mean a 1-game suspension and a undisclosed fine for Francisco.
And you feel a bit sorry for him, you know, and again, the modern game. I mean, you could say the same for Maloto, who had that challenge and got a yellow card for earlier on the game. It's the modern game. 1 challenge, yellow card, you know, and what's that? Four challenges like that, and you get a suspension, you know. It almost doesn't seem fair, does it, in the modern game, but there it is.
Maloto against Fernandez. Had Duke in close range. Duke was able to vacate the area. There's Ballo back to Zendejas. Good ball forward there, finds Oliveira. Oliveira will have a go from distance, and that one skies over the top.
Subs are warming up for the Roughnecks, and my money would be on Rivas making an early entry into the game in the second half, Pop, just to freshen things up in that 3 behind Swantassen.
Soccer fans, Nike is an official sponsor of the USL. For more information, you can visit nikesoccer.com. And also stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. You can tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern. That's on Sirius XM FC channel 85. Don't forget, Sirius XM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. You can check USLsoccer.com for dates and times.
That was a great first-time ball, and then Zendejas has to go for a second save there. But that was a great first-time ball in from the Roughnecks. But here comes Swope Park again. Quickly
to the other end, and Jadama cuts that ball down. Calistri slips over the top, still able to maintain possession. That's Malotu, who came up a little bit gimpy from that spot, and a foul now for Calistri.
That was a shame the Roughnecks, sorry, Pop, couldn't slip that ball out left to Corrales, who's in acres of space, and Corrales is a bit frustrated there. He's got his head down.
I think Malotu was a little bit happy that that foul was committed, because he was forward and nursing a bit of an injury, unable to track back from his midfield spot. Here's Kaffa. Kept alive there from Ugarte, just out of the reach of Bourgeois.
Bradley Bourgeois just slightly late there. And I think the referee will want words with Mr. Bourgeois here. But I think what they did...
yeah, that's Storm. That's down in the box. Storm right back there in college, tallied 2 goals and 8 assists in 69 matches during his career at North Carolina. Rookie defender, 1-year contract in February. He was the number 14 overall selection in the Super Draft by Kansas City. Out of Mechanicsburg, PA. Has not been featured in the MLS regular season with Sporting.
Well, Coach Vodrell's down there talking with the fourth official, and I think the Swope Park bench, a little bit of discussion going on there. A few things going on behind the scenes.
See that combination there of the 3 between Kaffa, Calistri, and Corrales. George working hard there Bourgeois with some time, steps over, has Jadama, Modu. Fernandez over to receive. Fernandez dumped there right at the 18-yard box. Referee says get up and play on. Oh, well played there from Jadama. Calistri. And that ball, poor angle there on the ball from Calistri, and he knows it as soon as he let it go.
And Ian Swantassen was in a perfect position just to nod the ball home. If you watch Pop, he gets in some space at the top of your screen there. There's the ball. Look at him, look. All the defenders came near post, and there's Swantassen. And there's Calistri head in hand.
He knew it as soon as it left the boot. Been impressed with Calistri so far.
Well, again, it's down the left, isn't it? You know, it's sorry to sound like a broken record, but that's where the Roughnecks have had their best chances, down the left-hand side. It'd be interesting if Rivas maybe comes on in the second half and they start playing down the right as well. You know, be slightly more attacking maybe, but we'll see what Coach Vodds has got up his sleeve. 5 minutes to go till half-time.
Oliveira came back to win that inside the circle. Looking to attack the side with Kosuke. Kosuke does well. I think Bourgeois has done well tonight from that defensive midfield position, and not only kind of owning his area of where he's at, but I think he's done a very fabulous job of being able to receive a lot of those balls with the service that we've seen so far from the back line and up through the midfield so far.
Yeah, ironically, he's had more of the ball than Colin Fernandez,
yes,
isn't he, in the middle there? Roughnecks still patient here in their build-up. And they need to be against a well-organised visiting team.
Jadama. Kosuke to the outside for Calistri. Joey with the left, slots it in, Paris G. Looking for Svantassen.
Well, Svantassen's making all the right movements and getting in all the right places, but that was a defensive good piece of play there, because G, in the end, here he is trying to play it through there. That's good play from below back there. Else it would have been another tap in for Mr. Svantassen.
That's a low percentage ball, though, with that many defenders inside the box there. Played from Paris G, trying to slot it across to Ian. Not many options, though, from the angle that he was at.
That was a rare mistake from Mr. Kaffer there, just over-hitting that ball there. Calistri slipping as he was just on the byline, couldn't get the cross in. Danger averted.
Maloto. Ugarte with Shallowy, providing pressure from behind there. Sporting has won the throw. They're deep from the corner. Don't forget, soccer fans, Nike is the official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit nikesoccer.com. Rubio, the goal scorer, in the 27th minute. Two Swope Park players down. That foul on Corrales. Not quite center of the pitch as Oliveira. And Corrales immediately put both hands up. Tad bit frustrated with that call. And this is a dangerous spot here as we head towards the end of the first half.
Yeah, they've got to be careful, the Roughnecks, haven't they, that they don't get frustrated and just get in now to locker room, have a sit down and listen to their very experienced coach. And maybe we might see a change at half-time, Pop. You know, there's a good bench there tonight. Maybe it is just one of those occasions when you have to swap it at half-time. We'll see what Coach Vods does, but they have to survive this free kick.
Wall set up just one step outside of the 18. Here's the driven shot that just goes wide. Serta diving to his right. And the Roughnecks survive.
And I think, to be fair to Fabian Serta here, he has this covered. He's slightly left of the centre, but he gets across well, and that was just wide, to be fair, from Rubio. So a good free kick, but Keith had it covered.
Yeah, well-driven ball, had a curl on it. We'll have 1 minute of stoppage time added here in the first half, with Swope Park leading the Roughnecks 1-0. We'll catch up with Coach Vod headed into the locker room here at halftime.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to hear what he has to say to Page, isn't it, as he comes off the field. You know, what are his thoughts? Is he seeing the same as we are? But, you know, lots of possession, just one chance for Swope Park, which they converted, and that's all important statistic, as we know. Possession stats, you know, Roughnecks are ahead, of course.
Serta's ball sails out of play. Roughneck fans, New Balance is your new official kit provider for the Tulsa Roughnecks. You can find all the latest New Balance Roughnecks gear and products inside the team store. Have played in their orange and gray kits primarily so far this season. New Balance on board for the first time here in 2017.
That was great play from George Corrales there. Down in, it looked like he had nowhere to go. One turn out and he sets the Roughnecks going again, but that's been broken up, and that pretty much, I think, will be it for half time.
It will do it. Swope Park comes in with a 1-0 lead in the goal in the 27th minute from Rubio. And we will hear from the head coach of the Roughnecks coming up here in 1 moment. Fans, don't forget, you can stay up to date with the latest on USL news and information from around the league. Tune in to USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts, Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC Channel 85. Also, don't forget, Sirius XM FC will air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. And I'm a proud subscriber of Sirius XM, and Channel 85 is on one of my favorites on the Sirius app. Page is trying to stalk Coach Vod down on the field, and we'll get his thoughts here in just 1 second, with Swope leading 1-0 over the Tulsa Roughnecks. Page is standing by and ready to go down on the field with Paige Martin and Coach Dave Vaudreuil. Paige?
Coach, with the lone goal coming from Swope Park in the 27th minute there, it came off the quick throw-in and then the deflection for the one-time finish. What did you see kind of broke down in your back line on that?
I think we were just a little too passive. Everyone's standing behind the guy, let the first guy head it, let the second guy get position, and you know, we had numbers there, but we weren't aggressive enough. So it's been a problem with us on set pieces, and you know, we obviously can't go soft on those. But in general, I think the game is going well. I think we're going to be rewarded for the possession and the movement and the hard work on the field. So we just keep going with the same, and keep trying to dominate the game, make them chase and defend as much as possible, and go score a bunch of goals.
Right, and speaking of the possession, it seems like a lot of the possession has been lost in the midfield for your team. What's kind of been the issue there, and how do you see your guys cleaning that up in the second half?
Yeah, we've given away very simple balls right to the other team and forcing it right into the middle of their, you know, they play a 4 or 5 man midfield, and we keep losing loose balls right there. You can't stare at it, you can't telegraph it. You've got to look at it and then go the other way, and we got to be a little more dynamic and a little more intelligent, and use their defensive shape against them and attack them at other areas.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck this next half. All right, we'll go ahead and send it back up to Jeremy and Dave.
All right, thank you, Paige. Interesting there from Coach Vod on wanting to be a little bit more dynamic there through the midfield, and thought, again, another soft goal given up here in the first half by the Roughnecks. Swope Park leading 1-0 on the goal in the 27th minute from Rubio. We'll take a timeout, and when we come back, we've got a special feature for you on the U.S. Open Cup match with FC Dallas, in which Tulsa went. Ultimately lost in the Open Cup to FC Dallas down at SMU, but a very nice feature that the fellows have put together for us. And we'll see that coming up next here at halftime of Tulsa Roughnecks Soccer.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SMU's Westcott Field for tonight's Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup fourth round match between the Tulsa Roughnecks FC and FC Dallas.
Take him and have like,
I don't need doubles.
I'm just saying, have Colin chip him or something like that. You'd be all right with him? All right, you take him.
Wait, who's this guy?
He's going to have the next guy, like Holland said. He's pretty tall, too. Bradley, you and Cisco and Ian, take a look at it now.
26.
If the ball's over here, you can tuck in and get him. But look first for these guys, this way and this way. Joey, if they go short, you go out with Kosuke and leave one inside. I want him to have 2 or 3 as a target, not one, and you all spread out. Everyone's got to do it right. It's got to be right every time. Mo, Cisco, Bradley, Ian. You guys got to all go to the same spot and a half.
Listen, this is the kind of games you're going to remember. This is the kind of games everyone wants to play in his career, okay? There's no excuses out there. No more excuses, okay? We know what we have. We know what we play. So I ask for heart and fight. We are winners, okay? Come on, boys. Let's go, boys. 1, 2, 3! Come on, go!
Tell Colin to go behind Morales. Don't come in front of him. Go behind him. Make him defend. Go to the goal. Hey. Is he talking to him? Yeah, no, I thought I could hear him talking to him. Look at the 2 of them. That guy's Someno, the new guy, and 1.
Bradley saying 1?
Bradley still got Diaz. Okay, he's got 10. That's it. You gotta help Kosuke, then when the ball goes middle, you gotta be in middle. And taking, if Kosuke's here with this guy, but the ball's here, you gotta be coming in here. If you have to slow him down, don't dive in, don't run past the ball. Right now, and keep Paris from running past the ball. Suerte, tiene un equipo bueno. Sí. Estamos mejorando, Mucha suerte para toda la temporada, Thanks, guys. Great stuff, guys. Thank you, guys. Good job today. Good job, fellas.
Family, FC Dallas and SMU. Thank you for joining us for tonight's match. Please drive home safely.
Hey, give our fans a little wave. Let's go give our fans a little wave. Joey.
Here is my handle and here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, then I shout.
Tip me over and pour me out. Oh.
It only takes a moment to make a moment.
Cheers.
Take time to be a dad today.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. At work or at play, you're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Oh, hey, she's cute. Nice going, man. Things are going great for you. You've earned a night out. Good drinks, good friends. Yeah, we can go ahead and call this a good night. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Not smart. Yeah, I saw that coming. Say goodbye to her. Ouch, that'll hurt your bank account. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. I hope you like eating frozen dinners. Alone. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
We've raised the stakes. Expectations are high. Our biggest season yet will break records with elite players and future stars. Innovative technology and new homes. We're growing the game in our communities and across the nation. Are you ready?
Your Tulsa Roughnecks FC returns to the pitch at ONEOK Field for the second of their 2 matches this week on Saturday night, July 1st. Bring the family and kick off the July 4th holiday early as we light up the skies over downtown Tulsa with an amazing post-match fireworks show presented by Mix 96. Come early and stay late for our pre- and post-match parties at the new Bush Scoreboard Bar as gates open at 5:30 on July 1st. Buy and print your tickets from home at roughnecksfc.com.
It's summertime, Drillville. Time to work on that tan. Make sure you have the coolest beach towel there is around this summer. Head to ONEOK Field on July 6th, where the first 1,000 fans will receive this one-of-a-kind Los Angeles Dodgers beach towel. Brought to you by Fox 23 and 103.
Your Tulsa Roughnecks FC returns to the pitch at ONEOK Field for the second of their 2 matches this week on Saturday night, July 1st. Bring the family and kick off the July 4th holiday early as we light up the skies over downtown Tulsa with an amazing post-match fireworks show presented by Mix 96. Come early and stay late for our pre- and post-match parties at the new Busch Scoreboard Bar as gates open at 5:30 on July 1st. Buy and print your tickets from home at roughnecksfc.com.
It's summertime, Drillville. Time to work on that tan. Make sure you have the coolest beach towel there is around this summer. Head to ONEOK Field on July 6th, where the first 1,000 fans will receive this one-of-a-kind Los Angeles Dodgers beach towel. Brought to you by Fox 23 and 103.
The Roughnecks trailing Swope Park 1-0 here at halftime in downtown Tulsa as the sun is starting to set there over the skyline from the city of Tulsa. See Swope back out on the pitch first. Let's take a look at some of the halftime statistics, shall we, Dave? And possession-wise, Tulsa definitely in the lead at 62% to 37%. Dual success rate, Tulsa at 67%. Aerials won, Tulsa at 72%. Offsides 4 times for the Roughnecks. You see shots 6 for Swope, 2 of those on goal. Tulsa dominating as far as total number of passes and passing accuracy. Possession stat that we talked about earlier. Fouls committed almost even. Swope has had 1 corner on the night. Now, as far as the attack is concerned, the 2 shots from Tulsa, both of those have been on goal. So that is 1 positive so far. And tackling tonight, Tulsa has tackled at an 80% clip, and 5 tackles for the Roughnecks and 4 for Swope Park here this evening as the Roughnecks have made their way back out onto the pitch. Well, a couple of your keys to the second half.
Yeah, I think Coach Hodge would have said, and we've just seen the possession stats, you're knocking the ball around well enough. Obviously, it's an obvious thing to say. We need to get more clear-cut opportunities for the goalkeeper in the Swope Park goal to save. As far as possession, and formations, I like it. There's nothing wrong. I think he's just had a little word, actually. I was watching him as he came out, Coach Vodds, talking to Colin Fernandez, and I think he would like him to be on the ball more. You made a good point that Bouchoir has had the lion's share of possession in that central midfield. Soft goal to give away, you've got to put that behind him. Nothing you can do about that now. Just don't do another soft goal. And if they get the next goal, the Roughnecks, there's no reason why they can't go on and win this game. But clear-cut opportunities, and they haven't made a substitution at half-time, but I don't think it'll be very long, Pop. I'll give it 10 minutes, and I think Coach Vodds will be looking to get Rivas on.
It will also be intriguing to see what moves that the Swope Park Rangers make as well, because you look at Awasa, who's still sitting there on the bench. You look at Gonzalez as well, who had the 2 goals in the previous match, one from the PK spot and the other in the 93rd minute. Also probing here early on in the opening moments of the second half, playing in the offensive third. There's a throw-in that's won to the far side of the pitch, but look at the firepower that still exists there on the bench for Swope Park with Gonzalez and Selbol and Awasa. We haven't even had a chance to talk about Jidic as well, who is down from the first team.
Well, they score a lot of goals in the second half, don't they?
Yeah, so, they have.
We might not see them score again, but then you wouldn't bet against them, a couple more. But the Roughnecks mustn't give soft goals away, is what I'm sure Coach Vodds has said to them. Be strong in defense.
We are live from the Bank of Oklahoma broadcast booth here at ONEOK Field. Bank of Oklahoma proud to support the return of professional soccer to the city of Tulsa. Roughnecks in year number 3.
Bradley Bourgeois just getting a knock on the, almost like, looks like the Achilles there, which can be painful. But I think he's going to get up and get on with it.
Bourgeois played his college ball here at the University of Tulsa. Was the Academy Player of the Year with the Dynamo. Some time with RGV last season, 6 games, scored a goal with them. There you see the Swope Park Rangers 3-1-0 when leading at halftime so far this season. And the Roughnecks trying to reverse that trend. Have not been able to find their way to 3 points so far when they concede the first goal here in 2017.
And I said, you know, if they score one, they could go on and win it. Of course, they've never drawn a game this season, have they? So I think they're the only team in the league that hasn't had a draw.
Swope at 20 points, trying to find their way to 23. Tulsa and to work from 15 up to 18 here tonight. If either one of these teams could walk away with a win, that would solidify Swope's spot there in the upper half of the Western Conference of USL. Seems like we continue to say this every single summer, Dave, but last year was supposed to be the summer of soccer. 15 was also the summer of soccer. You can say the same thing about 17 with the Confederations Cup that's currently going on. We've got Gold Cup that's getting ready to start. We've got all of the great qualifying for the World Cup happening. This sport continuing to grow by leaps and bounds, and to see FC Cincinnati selling 25,000 plus tickets to their Open Cup match, which you can watch on ESPN2 against the Chicago Fire.
And then throw in a whole host of EPL teams that are coming out for their pre-season. It's very exciting stuff, you're right.
It's incredible time right now to be a fan of this sport in this country. And there's a great ball that's played across the box. Kosuke was there, Serta was there. A very dangerous ball and an opportunity in the early going for Swope.
Well, that's good defending from Kosuke. He's clearly listened to what his manager said, we think, at half-time. You know, you don't want to give Rubio another opportunity inside the 6-yard box. And it was a combination of Serta and Kosuke, keeps it at 1-0. Good defending, good goalkeeping.
There's a giveaway. Here comes Bourgeois. Touch to the outside. Paris G with the run. G played that ball. Kaffa thought there might have been a handball off of the deflection. Still in possession with Juan Pablo. As G in support. Left-footed ball. Unable to be cleared out of the box.
Well, I think if there was a hand, it would have been a very harsh penalty against Swope Park. But I think possibly there was an arm in there. But good attacking pace. A good start from the Roughnecks to the second half.
Settled there from Chaloui. Taken off the ball by Kosuke. Ugarte square up all the way to the opposite side of the pitch. Chidamba there with pressure on the giveaway. Christian Duke to Maloto. And Serta has that one easily, and quickly to the opposite end goes Serta. Perfect ball.
Yeah.
Kaffa plays back to the 18, and there's a just unlucky. That's exactly what that is at that point there from Calistri.
Yeah, that was a great ball from Fabian Serta there. Great punt down the field, right to the feet of Ryan Kaffa, and then his ball there into Calistri, and it rather sort of, does it bounce up onto his hand, or does he deliberately use that? Yeah, he deliberately uses the hand because it was going to go past him. But a great ball from the Argentinian there to find him, but just hit the hand.
Can we see that replay one more time? I want to see if the ball that Kaffa played actually came off the back of the defender that caused that hop. Watch this ball. Great angle, guys, on the camera work. I believe it did. Yeah. I think it came off of the back there of the defender, and that maybe is what kind of caused that ball to take a bad hop there for Calistri, causing that.
You're absolutely right.
Yep.
There it is again, off the back of the head. Yeah, good spot, Pop, and that's what did it for Calistri, wasn't it?
Great job from you guys to be able to slow that down for us. There's Doyle, who's been pretty steady tonight for the Swope Park Rangers. 52nd minute with Swope Park leading.
Roustabouts are in good voice now, and they've got to be. They're going to try and suck that ball into that favoured end. Down here, nearest our commentary position, try and get the Roughnecks back on level terms.
Court Furniture has played a key role in making the Roughnecks players feel at home when they're not on the pitch. Court Furniture, there when you need it and gone when you don't. Coach Vaught looks comfortable in that position there on the sidelines.
Yeah,
there's a giveaway, and this is Duke. Duke on, and Serta able to get a piece of that to save the day, and Kosuke comes over immediately to give props to Serta. And that was just unfortunate there from Ugarte, and the Roughnecks are able to survive. Duke had a golden chance here.
That is a pretty amazing save, and if you're a Swope Park supporter, you would have put your house on Christian Duke there scoring that goal. He did everything right, to be fair to Duke, but that's a brilliant save from Serta, and that could be the moment of the game, because that keeps it at 1-0 instead of 2. And if my eyes don't deceive me, the Roughnecks are about to make a substitution. They're getting someone ready out behind the bench there. And there's Serta again.
Easily has that one inside the box. Yeah, Duke kind of had that look like he knows that he should have buried that. Sometimes, though, as you said, I don't think you can say anything in particularly wrong with Christian Duke's approach there. You just have to tip your cap at times. And Serta, credit to him for keeping Swope Park off of the board one more time.
Yeah, it was a fine save. And the most relieved man in the stadium, of course, was Mr. Ugarte, who gave the ball away.
And that is a lonely feeling when you give that ball away there centrally. Looks like Rivas is there warming up.
Yeah. I think he's got to come on sooner rather than later. I think it'll be Paris G, Pop, and I think it'll be a straight swap. And you'd have Calistri, Kaffa, and then, of course, Rivas in that 3, and then Ian Swantassen up front. So probably not a change in formation if Rivas was to come on.
Rivas has appeared in every regular season match. This is only the second time that he has not started in USL this season. Got his second goal of the season in San Antonio on the 17th of this month.
Well, that's a crunching challenge and a fair one from Colin Fernandez, which sets the Roughnecks going again.
G cuts back towards the byline, has options, plays it there in the center of the box, and Tulsa just unable to get anything on it. Still, though, the cross and the shot comes in. Well, you had 2 Roughnecks players that were there in the box. One of those was Colin Fernandez. Watch the replay here. Oh, brilliant work there from Calistri.
Really was, and that's a combination of good defending and the ball just not dropping for Fernandez in there, and Paris G was in there as well, but good pressure from the Roughnecks. All sorts of things going on there, but again, Swope Park stand pretty firm there inside the 6-yard box.
All of that was made possible by that sliding tackle there at midfield. Was that Bourgeois?
It was Colin Fernandez.
Was it Fernandez who was able to slide through?
That's what we said. You asked me for keys to the game, and I think he's one of them. I think you know how much I rate him, and here's a man I rate as well, Kaffa.
Line towards the byline, across. Oh, that pass had a lot of pace on it. And it deflected off of Calistri. Referee able to cut down that ball. Swope unhappy about that.
Yeah, that was Corrales there down the. Here he is again with possession of the ball, getting a lot of joy on that left-hand side.
There's another cross from Corrales, just out of the reach. Zendejas was off of his line.
Brave goalkeeping, because Calistri was going in with his cleats there and nothing doing. Well played, the goalkeeper, didn't make anything of it. Calistri entitled to go for that ball. Here it is again, Pop, good pressure. Corrales, left-footed ball, perfect ball in. And that's good goalkeeping with Calistri coming at you.
Kaffa. Here's G. Just unable to link up with Juan Pablo. Back to the near side. Kosuke on the run through. Maybe one touch too many as saw the keeper come off. We've got some shoves now from Corrales. Roughnecks players coming over. Zendejas is still down on the ground. That's Corrales, and Ballo were exchanging pleasantries. Doyle as well. Corrales is going to get booked for a yellow card.
Yeah, well, we'll see that all again. I think the goalkeeper needs to get up and get on with this, to be honest with you. He's not badly hurt. He's been slowing the game down in this second half. And I think, you know, referees just stepping in there, calming everything down. The Roughnecks don't want this. They don't want this because they've got a great spell of pressure here. They don't want the game broken up. The trainer will come on. Here it is again. Ball to the far post. Bouchoir can't get on the end of it. Good play in there. Out comes the keeper, and there's nothing doing at all there, I'm sorry to say. And the referee needs to get him up and get him playing on. Here it is, great piece of play there. Out comes the keeper, and he just brushes his leg. And I think Corrales is a little bit unlucky to get a yellow card there. It's probably not for the foul on the goalkeeper. It's probably for that little bit of pushing and shoving with Baloo. But then, you know, you could argue, Pop, why didn't Baloo get a yellow card?
That's my point exactly there, was wondering if you're going to have a twice two-handed shove in the upper area near the collarbone and around the neck. I know that his job there is to protect his teammate and his keeper, but if you're going to award the yellow card to Corrales, I think that you have to award one there to Ballo as well.
I think you're absolutely right, and in all that, the fourth official's holding up the board for a substitution for Swope Park. Saloui is coming off, Pop, I can tell you.
Zendejas, by the way, is up.
Oh, I'm sure he's going to be okay. And it's a shame to see that, really, because, you know, he's had a good game so far and he just needs to get on with the game.
Here's the sub for the Roughnecks, and you're exactly right. It will be G for Joaquin Rivas on the Tulsa side. And there's Gonzalez. Mark Gonzalez, who had 2 goals. The winner against Tulsa the last time that these two teams met earlier this month. One off of the PK there in the 90th minute. And then the second in the 93rd minute in stoppage time. So Gonzalez on for Saloui, and Rivas now as well. Referee finally forcing Zendejas to put the ball back in play.
Well, it's all livened up a little bit, hasn't it?
It has.
A foul. But as I said, you know, with that little bit of shenanigans going on there, you know, the Roughnecks don't want that, do they, Pop? Because they've had a good sort of spell of 5-10 minutes. And now, you know, with Rivas on the field, they've got a very attacking lineup. So we'll see what the next few minutes holds.
Possession still at 60% for the Roughnecks so far. Fighting there in the corner was Rubio on his cross. Cut down from Tulsa. Here's Ugarte. That unfortunately will miss Saturday's game against the Real Monarchs, who have proven to be one of the best teams in all of USL this season. off of their battling against Storm. Moloto down off of the pressure from Bourgeois. Bourgeois is beside himself on that foul call. Substitution coming up for Swope. Cameron Iwasa.
Yeah, two good substitutions there for Swope Park. Two very strong players coming on.
Exactly what we talked about. Iwasa scored in the last meeting.
Doesn't get any easier for the Roughnecks, does it? But they've got to convert this pressure now.
Iwasa had a rocket to open up the scoring on the road there in Kansas City. Two balls are on the pitch. Well, Serta thought about it, and Iwasa now cuts inside the box, directly at it, leaves it across the goal, and Swope has slammed it in, and it's Gonzalez one more time. Gonzalez now 3 goals against the Roughnecks. This one coming in the 63rd. And it was a giveaway, and Shallowy and Gonzalez, in the opening moments of them being on the pitch, have made an absolute difference here for Swope.
Well, we talked about, 1-0. You don't want to concede a soft second. It was a good movement, to be fair, to Swope Park. A little bit of controversy because there was a second ball on the field, but to be fair, I'm not sure the referee could have brought that back or stopped the game. Kaffer's saying, and Svan Tassen saying, why didn't you stop the game when, was Kosuke's run back impeded by that second ball? I don't think so. And the Roughnecks have just got a mountain to climb as Kaffer tries an outrageous effort from the halfway line. Here it is. This is a good move. And as you said, it's a great finish from the lad who can't stop scoring against us. And they are, they score a lot of goals in the second half. So well played, Swope. 2-0. Now, can the Roughnecks get back in it quickly now?
Yeah, and here's one final look at it. Serta had a retreat. And just a well-played ball.
Oh, it was a perfect ball, wasn't it? And a good run from Gonzalez to find the space.
Good run, and that's a long way for Corrales to have to track back on that opposite side. Tulsa just now has to find a way to pull one back. On sides is Iwasa. Serta has it, lets it trickle inside the box.
You just wonder whether Kondrakin might come on as a second striker, maybe, if they're chasing. Brady Ballou, of course, is on the bench. Although at the moment you say it's a very attacking lineup with that front, the front four for the Roughnecks.
Good turn there from Iwasa, able to shield off. Tackle there from Modou Jadama. Offsides on the assistance flag. That tackle from Modou. The new face of Strong. You can take home the new Chevy Silverado.
And I would say, if I was picking a man of the match for 65 minutes for the Roughnecks, it would be Jadama. I think he hasn't done anything wrong tonight. He's won pretty much everything in the air, been good on the ground with his tackles.
Soccer fans, Nike's the official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit NikeSoccer.com, and you can stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune in to USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC Channel 85. Sirius XM FC will also air the USL Game of the Week. Please check USLsoccer.com for dates and times. So now to play by Zendejas. Bourgeois back to receive to Jadama. A lot of side-to-side movement here from the Roughnecks in the last few moments. Calistri, poor touch there from Calistri, looking for Kaffa. It's been a fun battle between Awasa and Ugarte since he has been subbed on.
It's interesting to me as well that the right back Storm and the left back Pasha for Swope Park have hardly got across the halfway line. They're really sitting in now because obviously at 2-0 that, you know, they can afford to do that. You know, whereas Corrales and Kosuke have got to do the opposite for the Roughnecks. They've got to push forward now.
Yeah, that second changes a lot of things.
Well, it's whether you stick or twist, as we say, isn't it? Now, you know, you've got to keep the back door shut somehow, but you've got to push men forward at 2-0 to try and get yourself back on the board. Okay, if you get one, then you can be a little bit less gung-ho, but you've got to force it a little bit now, being 2 down. So we'll see what they've got here, the Roughnecks.
It's Calistri out wide to Kaffa. Corrales. And a corner now coming up for the Roughnecks.
Yeah, every ball they've played in the Roughnecks, there's been a Swope Park player in the way, to be fair. They have defended that 6-yard box when the Roughnecks have got in behind the defence on the wings and pulled the ball back. They haven't really had a clear-cut chance where you can just tap the ball in. Svantassen likes to do that, doesn't he? And whenever there's been a ball in, there's been a block in the way from Swope Park.
Kaffa's ball makes its way through. Rivas plays back for Fernandez. Fernandez off the deflection, and it's in! Colin Fernandez has pulled Tulsa back within 1 in the 69th minute.
Well, now we have a game on. There's Colin Fernandez clapping his hands. He hit it well with his left foot. It certainly took a big deflection, which took it past the keeper. The Roughnecks will take it. And with 20 minutes to go here at ONEOK, we really have a game on here. It's Tulsa 1, Swope Park Rangers 2.
And the orange smoke is flying from the opposite end.
Good play from
pitch.
Rivas. Good
it
play.
Is.
And there's the deflection, which took it past the keeper. The keeper would have had that if it hadn't have been deflected. Great camera work.
Comes right off of Christian Duke and right into the side of the net. And it caught Zendejas completely off guard.
Great camera work again behind the goal. Fantastic work, guys. Saw exactly the deflection there past the keeper. Here come the Roughnecks again.
Here's Rivas. This time to Kaffa. Off the deflection from Ian. Kaffa's shot! Oh, just wide. Oh, boy, you can feel the adrenaline inside of ONEOK Field right now.
Well, we're a long way up, and it's the other side of us, but Pop, I honestly thought I was up. I thought that was in. That is a great save, keeper.
Amazing save.
That's what he needs to be doing instead of rolling around the field. Great save.
All 6'5" of Zendejas had to stretch out to get a piece of that ball from Kaffa.
Well, now it's a completely different game, isn't it? If the Roughnecks can convert here.
Kaffa's there. Oh, boy, Ugarte. I don't know how many times you can say the same thing over and over, but the service one more time from number 10, Ugarte.
Yeah, Kaffa's delivery, Ugarte's volley wide. And now Swope Park will try and slow it all down again and break this up, because it's the Roughnecks now with the wind in their sails. They trail by 2-1 though.
Plenty of time.
Yeah.
Just now with 71 minutes off the board.
And that was anywhere will do from Doyle, just trying to relieve some pressure. That's out.
Let Shallowy do the work, or excuse me, let Iwasa do the work. And he's had a lot of it since he came on as the sub. Case and Associates is your home for the Roughnecks players when they're not on the pitch, Dave. For all of your apartment needs, you can check out caseusa.com.
To be fair to Fernandez, you know, he did hit that shot well for the goal. All right, it took a deflection, but it was going towards goal.
There's Rivas. Pressure from behind, leaves it off to Kaffa. Kaffa pulls back, left-footed cross there, Bourgeois!
Clever play again from Juan Pablo Caffrey, such an intelligent player. You know, Pop, in the first half, he was overloading the left-hand side for the Roughnecks. Here he's out on the right-hand side, and what he can do from here, look, dragging it onto his left and play a beautiful curve ball in there. And there's Bradley Bourgeois up from the central midfield, and again, good pressure from the defender there, Storm.
Yeah, that's great defending from Storm.
And a little bit of pressure there on the keeper, slicing that one out.
Long throw in, looking for Sventussen. Fighting there with Ballo in the back. Wins a Tulsa throw in. Quickly they want to go. It's almost like Tulsa can feel Swope kind of just hanging here in the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, credit the Roughnecks since that second goal's gone in. Well, even before that, you know, they came out all guns blazing in this second half, conceded the second, and then really they've got themselves back on into the game, and now here they come again with Fernandez.
Fernandez has an option there. It's Kaffa. Kaffa's one touch just to the opposite side of the post. And Kaffa will set the ball on the line for the goal kick. You see on the replay here, it's Fernandez.
Beautiful slip ball through there. You see Kaffa getting in between the centre-back and the right-back.
That's Storm, though, tracking back one more time.
Storm's had a good couple of minutes there. He's had a pretty good game all round, hasn't he? But good tracking back, as you said, foiling the danger twice in the last couple of minutes.
14th overall pick out of North Carolina in the 17 draft. That possession rate still hovering around 60% for the Roughnecks. Trailing 2-1 after Colin Fernandez has pulled one back. It's Christian Duke looking for Gonzalez. USL is one of the most prominent second division professional leagues in the world, featuring some of the game's top talent and rising stars. You can stay up to date with all the latest league news and information by visiting the website uslsoccer.com and follow them on Twitter @USL. Driven ball by Kaffa. Knocked away. Maloto.
Good pressure again from Kaffa and Fernandez, and now Maloto's gone down as he got cramp. Well, I hope the referee's going to add on probably 5 minutes here, Pop. I think we're up to 5 now. You're normally better than me at this, but, you know, with the shenanigans that have gone on and a little bit of time wasting, substitutions, I think we're up to 5. And I think Mr. Vaudreuil might be getting another sub. Certainly has been told to warm up more vigorously. I can't quite tell you who it is. But at the moment, I wouldn't change anything, Pop, would you? From the Roughnecks' perspective?
I find it hard-pressed to see where the change would be at this time. Doesn't mean that there's not one to be found. Maloto is up.
I guess the only other thing you could say is whether the Roughnecks would go 3 at the back and push another man on. But to be honest, with Corrales and Kosuke at left and right back is almost don't need to do that. They're so good at getting forward and back.
Here's Rivas. Through the center of the pitch. Bourgeois, Kaffa's header.
Well, the great man will try anything, and that was a header from the 18-yard line. But easy save in the end, but again, good pressure, good delivery, and again, good to see Rivas on the ball. That was good movement there from Swope Park, but cut out well by Ugarte.
Joaquin one more time. Settled by Calistri, overlapping run. He's back for Corrales. Square ball for Fernandez. Calistri one more time. Trying to cut to the inside, just has that one knocked away. Moloto. Challenge there, won by Jadama. Jadama continuing his run forward. Sliding attempt there. Corrales keeps it in before it heads over the byline. Cross comes across. Was settled there with the chest from Ballo.
Just wonder whether Corrales is in a little bit of trouble there.
He just raised his hand.
Yeah. Was that to say, no, don't take me off, coach, I'm okay? Swope Park is going to make their third change.
Corrales will add to that cross total. This is Emir Džidić, who we will see come in for Oliveira. That's a defense for offense.
Yes.
Swap there.
Certainly is. And I think they want to play out the next 12 minutes and walk away with their first away win of the season, Pop. But the Roughnecks aren't going to go down without a fight here.
Džidić, born in Bosnia and Herzegovina, hometown of Edmonton, Alberta. Had 32 appearances last season for Swope. All USL. First team honors as the Defender of the Year finalist. Went to Baker University, right there outside Kansas City in Baldwin City, Kansas. Scored 28 goals for the Wildcats for his time in college. There's Rivas, has some space. Somehow kept alive by Ian. Jadama has to track it back down near the touchline on the opposite side. Jadama's cross cut down. And now the quick counter. Here's Gonzalez.
Well, that's a good cutout by Ugarte, because there was a man over there, which Gonzalez nearly found.
Yeah, Kosuke was tracking back, trying to help out as much as possible. Fernandez wide as Rivas, whose family has made quite the effort to see as many games of Joaquin's this season as they can.
Yes,
saw his lovely sister and brother.
It's at the Dallas game, wasn't it?
Dallas at the Open Cup, had actually flown in from Las Vegas that day to watch Joaquin against FC Dallas. '81st minute. Tulsa now with much of the run of play. Possession up to 62% for the Roughnecks.
I think with Džidić coming on, I think Swope Park are more or less playing a 4-4-1-1, sometimes a 4-5-1, very hard to break down. We're inside the last 10 minutes of the regulation till 90. We think there's probably going to be about 4 or 5 on the board.
Pasher's 23. He started one match in the 2017 regular MLS season on May the 20th against Vancouver Whitecaps. In 2015, spent some time in Pittsburgh with the Riverhounds in USL.
It's going to be a throw-in, just below saving the corner there.
I believe we'll have 2 subs now coming on for Tulsa.
I think that's Ayala that's come on, isn't it?
It will be Ayala on for Corrales, as George's night is complete. And when he raised that hand on that final run, as he was trotting back,
and Colin Fernandez is going off, and they are pushing on Draken up front, so 2 up top now. And you just wonder whether it is 3 at the back now, Pop. We'll see how it pans out after this throw-in.
Doyle got there to it, settled. Bourgeois in the vicinity of that cross, and poor effort there. The header results in a throw-in. Ugarte, center of the pitch, left-footed. Well over the top of the bar.
Still
pushing on to the 84th now.
Yeah, still good pressure, as they have to, as you say, just coming on to the 84th. Here's the shot from Ugarte from our camera from behind the goal, and this won't trouble the keeper there. You can see he just leaves that one a couple of yards over. Zendejas' kicking has been off, I have to say, since he was down injured, in inverted commas. But he did make a fine save, didn't he, down to his right, which kept the Roughnecks out after the deflected effort from Colin Fernandez, who got us back into the game.
2 incredible saves this evening. One from Zendejas on Kaffa, and one from Serta on Christian Duke on the giveaway in the back from the Tulsa defense. Soccer fans, Nike is the official sponsor of the USL. For more information, visit nikesoccer.com. Ugarte has had to battle since Cameron Iwasa has made his presence here tonight at ONEOK.
Just looking, you know, ahead to Saturday, if Ugarte is out suspended, you would have thought that Bradley Bouchard is playing central midfield, would drop back to centre-back. Pop would be the obvious thing, we would say, probably.
I would expect your assumption to be correct. Pasher.
Referee right on the spot there, all that battling going on in the corner. Swope Park want to see out this last 5 minutes now, plus the injury time to be added on. The Roughnecks want the ball out of that corner as quickly as possible. Nothing more frustrating if you're chasing the game. There you go, that's a slip by Swope Park, and that'll be a goal kick, and they can reform.
Asher's had quite a bit of time with the Canadian national team. As Canada gets set for Gold Cup competition.
Yeah, he's a good player, isn't he?
Pasha. Ayala. Not enough lift. Find its way through. Gonzalez against a host of Roughneck defenders.
Yeah, he wanted to take them all on, didn't he? He did pretty well, actually.
in space now. Searching ball forward for Moloto. From the back line, and Liam Doyle. Rivas has to track that ball down, does so. Leaves for 10. 10 looking forward for Ian. Sven Tussen was creating as much space as he could there for the defender. Defender just got in front of it. Cutting to the inside, there's a shot off of the deflection. Ball straight into the air, and this will be a throw-in now for Tulsa.
Yeah, Khaleesi did well. They came in from the left onto his favoured right, but blocked by the defender yet again. Good pressure, though. Ayala with the throw-in.
88th minute. Ayala will play back for Ugarte. Ugarte inside the box. Two Swope players collide, and Moloto now comes away with it. Elects to pull back and keep possession here with Djidic, and it's taken away.
Yeah, I think Storm took a crack on the head from his own fellow defender there. I think he's okay. He's just feeling his head a little bit, and play goes on.
Christian Duke. Moloto, the corner of the 18.
Swope Park happy to take this into the corner again, slow things down. They did have two players over there.
Smart play, now a foul. Kafa. Kalistri. Out to Jadama. Jadama's ball. Keeper comes way off of his line, takes it out of the air, and quickly goes on the easy outlet to the outside with Gonzalez. Gonzalez now will head directly towards the corner.
We always say if you're a defender and you hear your keeper shout keeper's ball and take one out of the night sky like that, that's just what you want, especially in the 89th minute. Good goalkeeping.
That was the most assertive that we've seen Zendejas in a while.
Yes, certainly was. That's good. Just what his team needed. And they lead by 2-1.
Fans, you can stay up to date on the latest USL news and information from around the league. Tune into USL Coast to Coast with Mike Watts. Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Sirius XM FC. Channel 85. Also, they will air the USL Game of the Week there on Sirius XM FC. Check USLsoccer.com for dates and times.
A real battle out there now. The Roughnecks have got a free kick here, which Ugarte is going to punt forward. Well, in fact, he's going to leave it to the goalkeeper and then get men forward, but a high line from Swope Park here.
We will see how much time will be added. Want to take a guess? I'm going to say 4.
I want to say 5. I think it should be 5. Put it that way.
Rivas tracking this down, has it. Good ball in from Rivas towards the back post. Zendejas has it, and 4 minutes officially added.
Pop, you are never wrong. In my opinion, it should be more, but who am I? It's 4 minutes, and that's what you have to get on with. That's Brooke Weiss, the 4th official, with the board being held up there.
Dave, my friend, I cannot tell a lie. Especially to you. I might have cheated a bit.
It's that earpiece again, isn't it?
And had the info in my earpiece. Djidic slipped there on the turf. Jadama for Bourgeois. Rivas cuts to the inside. Rivas left-footed ball. Ayala too high for Jimmy Ayala.
Well, Pop, you normally get one clear-cut chance in these last few minutes. Will the Roughnecks be able to take it? Indeed, if they get it. Zendejas will take all the time he can. Referee's got his eye on it. In fact, he's got the whistle in his mouth, and he is going to book the keeper here for the time wasting.
That's the 2nd or 3rd warning. I think that's warranted.
I think the referee did well there. I think his patience in the end was tested.
Yellow card coming in stoppage time. Given to number 1 of Swope Park, Adrian Zendejas.
Swope has bodies here. Throw in, well, they will be able to burn a little bit of time here off the clock. Storm doing the right thing and taking his time. Two minutes of that stoppage time have now gone by. Roughnecks might have one, maybe two more strong opportunities.
Yeah, as I said, you normally get one, and they really are throwing everything now at Swope Park. There's a back line of 5 for Swope. Ball's got to come in here from Ugarte.
Swope has packed everyone but 3 players inside the box. Easy play for Zendejas. Calistri trying to fight. Here's Duke. Gonzalez now will head to the corner.
And it'll be a Swope throw.
Tulsa will be back in action on Saturday against the Real Monarchs. Fireworks will be on display after the match. And this might be the last opportunity, Dave Saunders.
I think so, Pop. And that'll be a foul against Ian Svantassen, who's had another frustrating night. And we said it earlier on the commentary, nobody works harder than Ian. You know, he's up against, again, 2 quality central defenders, as he is in every game. He works hard, and that one just goes against him.
And that will do it. Swope Park has come into ONEOK Field and has defeated the Tulsa Roughnecks 2-1 here in downtown Tulsa on this Tuesday evening. And they now will move to 23 total points in the Western Conference. Tulsa will remain at 15, still under the playoff line. And it was goals from Rubio and a goal from Gonzalez, who got the game winner in the 63rd minute. Tulsa able to pull back one with the shot from Colin Fernandez. You see Dave Vaudrell there talking to Storm, who was impressive here this evening. And unfortunately, Tulsa will come up empty here at home, and now the Roughnecks will fall to 0-6 when conceding the first goal.
Yeah, frustrating night, Pop. In the end, you know, they pressured. The first goal, David Vaudrell said at halftime, was a soft goal to concede. They came out second half and they concede that second one, then you really are up against it. They get back in it with a deflected shot, and when I think we're going to hear from the head coach in just a few moments from now, but in the end they just come up slightly short here at ONEOK.
We'll throw it down on the field level to Paige Martin, who's standing by with the head coach of the Tulsa Roughnecks, Dave Vaudrell. Paige.
All right, Coach, it was a hard-fought battle out there for your team tonight. They had plenty of chances in that second half, but unfortunately, they just couldn't capitalize on them. What would you say was kind of the downfall in tonight's match for your team?
Well, if we're struggling to score goals, you can't give up 2 easy goals. We gave up 2 easy goals. We gave up a breakaway that Fabian had to make an unbelievable save. The guy walks in completely all alone. they could have easily scored a third goal. So it doesn't mean anything if we play well, if we make critical mistakes and we can't finish. You know, puts too much pressure on us to score 2, 3, 4 goals when we give up 1 goal in the first half and 1 goal in the second half, and we gave the game away. So I'm glad the guys fought hard, and we had a lot of the ball, but we didn't create a lot of clear-cut chances. And at the end, we just put a bunch of hoping crosses up in the air, and Zendejas did a good job and made all the plays he should have made. So.
And now with that loss, that now makes 5 out of the last 6 USL games that the Roughnecks have lost. But how do they kind of mentally push that noise aside and begin to prepare and focus for the first place team, Real Monarch, to host this Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, it should be exciting, right? It should be a lot to play for. Every game is a lot to play for. So we have to build them up and be positive and be really sharp in training and try and give them the best preparation possible, and then we got to go out and play and prove it on the field. It doesn't do us any good if we don't prove it on the field.
All right, thank you so much, Coach. Good luck on Saturday.
All right, thank you, Paige. Paige with the tough questions to Coach Vaudreuil. Losers of 5 of the last 6, and Coach Vaught said it should be exciting times with the #1 team in the Western Conference coming in on Saturday, with the Real Monarchs now putting the pressure squarely back on your shoulders after missing out on the opportunity here this evening. Dave, I mean, this is not necessarily what Coach Vaudreuil had in mind, but here they are, and the Roughnecks find themselves in this position where you don't necessarily want to say that Saturday is a must-win, but even getting a point coming out of Saturday against the best team, you would feel that much better about it before the Roughnecks go back on the road, before they face the black and gold derby for the first time in the early portion of July, which is always a very tough match.
Yeah, you're right, and you know, he never minces his words, and great questions from Paige there. You know, what it is I've often said it before, if you lose a game of professional football, what you want is the next game as quickly as possible. You don't want to hang around for a week to play again. Okay, they've got Wednesday, you know, Thursday, Friday to prepare, and they're back here again on Saturday, and it's not going to be an easy game, but it's one of those games you can really get yourself up for. They've got to do without Ugarte, so there's going to have to be a change at the back. Coach Vaudreuil will talk to them about the goals they've conceded, talk to them about converting the possession, the impressive possession that they've had tonight. So, you know, as I say, if you've lost the game, pick yourselves up, dust yourself off, and what better than a game against the Monarchs coming in on Saturday? Well,
let's have a look at the highlights from this evening's match with Swope Park coming into downtown Tulsa. First half. Here's a look at the eventual goal scorer, Rubio, who scored in the 27th minute, and that was where I thought that there was a tad bit of acting. And here's Kaffa, again putting the ball directly just out of the reach of Calistri. And we saw those two link up several times. Here's the foul, which Kaffa earned. Modu Jadama as well on the foul. Roughnecks here allowing the rebound to come out. Christian Duke put a lot of pace on that ball, but hit it directly at Serta. And there was Calistri's good opportunity there in the first half. That was a low-driven ball that the keeper had to adjust on with the sun in his eyes. And here's the goal, Dave. And Coach Vaught said it. That's a soft goal that the Roughnecks have given up, and he felt like both goals were soft this evening.
Yeah, poacher's goal, 5 yards out, and there's a few more fouls committed. Good finish from Rubio. Chance here. Calistri did all the hard work. That's a fine save from the keeper.
Yeah, Zendejas had several key saves this evening. That was one in the first half.
That was Ugarte's yellow card there, which the bench got up and Roughnecks, you know, at the end of the first half here, just couldn't find that real cutthroat ball in there, could they? Always a defender in the way.
Oliveira there.
This was at the end of the first half. Curled shot there from Duke, wasn't it? Just wide. So we go in the second half, 1-0 down, Pop, and credit the Roughnecks. They really came out.
Yeah, they did. They did come out and were able to still hold most of the possession. There's the foul in the early going. Here's a near goal from Swope as ball goes across the mouth of the goal, but Kosuke was there. Also the save from Serta. Played this ball back. Kaffa had his shot deflected, and here's the near goal from Duke and the amazing save from Serta.
Yeah, Kosuke there was right over to Serta. That was a fantastic save. Then there was more pressure, wasn't there, from the Roughnecks? But again, you have to say Swope Park stood firm.
Seemed to have defenders in every single position that they needed to tonight, just out of the reach. Here's another chance. This is where some shoving got started, and also Fernandez was able to pull the Roughnecks back within one, and there's your final from this evening, 2-1 to Swope Park. And we'll be back here on Saturday night as the Rion Monarchs make their way into town. Real quick, some statistics. Shots tonight, 13 from the Roughnecks, 5 of those on target, 10 from Swope Park, also 5 on target. 2 block shots apiece, 6 shots apiece inside the box for both of these teams. Excuse me, that was outside the box. 7 shots inside the box for the Roughnecks, and the accuracy tonight 50% for Swope Park and just 38% for the Tulsa Roughnecks. Well, Dave, final thoughts as we get set to close it out tonight and head into Saturday evening.
Yeah, some good things. Some goals to look at defensively, which Coach Vods has already talked about. I think possession-wise, fine, very good, but we need to, see if Swantasson can get into those positions and have the ball to his feet inside that 6-yard box. I think credit the defenders tonight from Swope Park, but I think it's something they might work on is, that little movement that you get inside the box, because they get some great play down the wings, the Roughnecks. Those pullbacks are fantastic. Kaffa's pulling the strings all the time. Frustrating night, dust yourself off, get ready for Saturday. Big night coming up.
I want to say thanks to the production crew here at ONEOK Field for doing one of the best jobs in all of USL, as they do on a consistent basis, week in, week out. Thank you to Alan and to Hunter, and we want to say good luck to Steven as well, who's leaving to take a job in Chicago and has to leave us here. His final game coming up on Saturday. He will be missed, but thank you very much, guys, to all the cameramen for all the great shots from this evening. Final score for the final time. Swope Park defeats the Tulsa Roughnecks 2-1. Have a good night from all of us at ONEOK Field. For my partner, Dave Saunders, I'm Jeremy Poplin. We'll see you back here at ONEOK Field this Saturday as we welcome in the Rion Monarchs, the best team in the Western Conference. Good night from downtown Tulsa.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League may not be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent from the United Soccer League.